time to go back to the back cave. I'm gonna go ahead and sit down and converse with the folks for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Back to the back cave. Shit. What's up, people? Welcome back. Did you enjoy that little tour I gave you? No? I guess it all depends on who you are and your perspective on reality, so to speak. Again, I like to say, the sole purpose of me doing this is to show that when a Christian says he doesn't believe in this or that, little does he know that the same things he's dissing is incorporated in his religion. Okay? That is the sole purpose of the program. All right? And I know full well of these things. All right? Some people are good at mechanics. Some people are good at cooking. Some people are good at writing. You know what I'm saying? Writing novels. I'm good at this. Okay? Metaphysics and philosophy is my niche, okay? So let me strut my stuff and do my thing, sit back, relax, take it or leave it, okay? Because when it all comes down to is, or what it all comes down to is, I'm gonna be all right regardless. And you, I don't know. I don't know you, so I don't know if you're gonna be all right or what. But according to my perspective, everybody that's basically shortchanging themselves on the education tip are not going to be all right, because there's two educations that a man gets in his life, right? The one that society gives him and one that he gives himself, and the latter being the most important. Okay, so what I'm basically saying to all of you out there is, before you start running your mouth about religion or about what you do believe, what you don't believe, have the presence of mind to know what you're speaking on first. Okay? Now, I ran into a couple of Christians who were telling me that Egypt was bad and evil, and they enslaved Hebrew Israelites. And okay, number one, okay, according to my calculations, through my own time scale and time frame of BCs and ADs and whatnot, there was no Hebrew enslavement, okay? But according to your Bible, it did happen. But as I've said before, you're reading it on a literal level, okay? So you're actually thinking everything in it is historic, when actually everything in it is not historic. The Bible is a compilation of history and myths and folklores. And, you know, it takes a lot of study to really understand what you're reading. And what I basically told him, I said the Egyptians were meticulous record keepers, okay? And you're telling me that, I mean, a 400-year enslavement to the Egyptians, or the Egyptians enslaving the Hebrew Israelites was nowhere to be written on any of their slabs or papyruses or in the tombs of the pyramids or anything like that. Nothing was ever kept. All right? Okay, that's basically strike number one for me. To the typical Christian religionist, that won't mean anything. But that's what I'm talking about, religion superseding reality. All right? You know, he was talking about, they were saying that Egypt, the Egyptians were sun worshippers, and that's pagan. And I was like, well, what about you? Aren't you a sun worshiper also? And they gave me a look of dismay, and I said, okay, check this out. Bear with me for a moment and just reason with me. I said, you go to church on what day? All right. America has basically said that majority of people will go to church on Sunday. S-U-N-D-A-Y. Day of the sun. Everybody should go to church on Sunday. Now, if you're a biblical scholar, you know that this is not the Sabbath. It starts sometime on Friday, ends on Saturday. But It's been changed due to Roman Catholicism, and whether you like it or not, for those Christians who diss the Pope, your very church is an extension out of Roman Catholicism. Yes, if there was no Roman Catholicism, there would be no church, because all the churches stemmed out of that. That's another thing that you don't want to deal with, I understand. But let me get back to the point. I said you go to church on Sunday, all right? Now, if you're a sun worshiper, common sense would dictate that you would go and worship your God, which would be the sun, on Day of the Sun, Sunday. Then you turn around and say that Jesus is the Son of God, okay? He is the light, right? Jesus is the Son of God. Little do you know that Jesus is actually symbolic to the sun, our solar sun, right? But that's something else that I don't really want to get into right now. I'll say that for another show, because I would be getting off the track and getting real deep, right? So we've established that. Right now, on top of your churches, you have a Egyptian artifact, which you could see going up and down Hoover if you have the presence of mind. You see these little steeples, these pointy thingamajigs, right, sitting on your church, and they have their origins in Egypt. So while you're calling the Egyptians pagan and sun worshippers, you do have an Egyptian artifact on the top of your church, which is symbolic to resurrection, and the resurrection of the sun power, all right? Then you go to church on Sunday. Then you worship the Son of God, okay? So what's all this sun stuff? So now who's the pagan? Who is the sun worshiper? Okay? There's many things in your religion which you deem original, and you deem it holy, passed down from God, and that's erroneous also. Your 10 Commandments, that is not original. The Egyptians, 1,500 years prior to Musa or Prophet Moses, or should I say, the Egyptians had a code of ethics called the 42 Admonitions of Ma'at, or the 42 Negative Confessions, which basically they went like this: I have not robbed my brother, I have not killed my brother, I have not cheated my brother, I have not slept with my brother's wife or concubine or whatever. And all those 10 commandments, which you say are original, can be found in the 42 Negative Confessions, which predates Christianity, or should I say Judaism, right, by 1,500 years. So it's not original. And you yourself said that Moses was raised in the house of Pharaoh, and Pharaoh, whether you want to believe it or not, he was a monotheist. They were not polytheists the way you've been indoctrinated to believe. That's just more disinformation to keep you away from Egypt, because the more they can spook you and scare you away from Egypt, they're basically scaring you away from your liberation, away from your true culture, because that was the original culture of the black man in Nubia, in Sudan, in Ethiopia, okay? But in reality, there's religions that's older than that. But right now, we just gonna deal with Egypt, because that's basically what y'all could deal with more. If I was to talk about voodoo or anything like that, I fear that might really scare you, because you know you've been brought up in that spook God theology, and you believe so heavily in heaven and hell and devils and angels and gods. And I don't want to get onto that fairy tale stuff. I don't want to scare y'all right now. So, what I was saying is your 10 Commandments is not original. The Egyptians had 42 laws to live by, 1,500 years prior to Judaism. Your cross is not original, okay? The amulet which I'm wearing right now, check it out. Yeah, see that? This is the Egyptian Ankh, all right? This is the symbol of life and death, hot and cold, male, female, positive, negative. It consists of a circle on top, which is symbolic to the spirit, and the cross on the bottom, which is symbolic to the physical. All right. Your symbol is nothing but a physical symbol. It has no cipher. It has no circle on the top. So the spirit does not rule the physical in your theology. Now, this takes a symbolic and a metaphysical mind to see, but you've been brought up in typical literal dogma, so your mind has no, should I say, recourse. You don't have any aids or any keys to help you unlock these things. All right, so your symbol is symbolic to death. And now you ask, why is it symbolic to death? Well, I don't want to really get into it. I'll say that for another show. Let's put it this way. You know, the cross is symbolic to 4. The 4 is symbolic to a base. Anything that's base is dead level. Anything that's dead level or laying down is usually sleep or dead. Okay? And I'm not going to get into the specifics right about now. But any man who is an upright man who will study his lessons knows that a cross is symbolic to 4, and the 4 is symbolic to the physical. And it takes the spiritual to animate the physical. Therefore, the physical is dead without the spirit. So in actuality, the cross is symbolic to death. And when you put a cross on your neck, that's basically telling the world, or the power elites, or those who are in the higher religious circles, or the Masonic lodges, or the Secret Brotherhood, or the Illuminati, or whatever you want to call it, that's telling them that you're dead. Because you believe in things that a grown man or a grown woman has no reason to believe in. Okay? You believe in fairy tales. You believe in myths, spookism, spookology, right? And these people have engineered, there are people who have engineered these stories, right, to fool you, fool the brain dead, like I told you before. They are stories meant to convey scientific principles and messages on how to rule and dictate the human mind, spirit, and psyche, all right, or how to control it and manipulate it. But they veil it under superstitious ignorance so that you have no concept of what's going on, all right? So your 10 Commandments is not original. Your cross is not original. This predates your cross by 4,000 years. Your Trinity is not original. Your Father, Son, Holy Ghost was originally Father, Mother, and Son, which is Osiris, Isis, and Horus. The Egyptians had a Trinity. Your Immaculate Conception is not original. Isis did conceive Horus immaculately without the agency of sperm. Yeah, your mother. If you're a Roman Catholic, your Madonna and your child, that's not original either. All over Egypt, you can see Isis holding Horus. Okay, matter of fact, in Europe, you can see a black Madonna holding a black child all over Europe, because this is originally what it was. It wasn't a Mary and a Jesus originally. It was Osiris, or excuse me, Isis and Horus. All right. That's what the statues were originally for. It was originally Egyptian. And this predates your myth by thousands of years. Even your own eminent Christian scholars know this, but they don't share it with you because they are in power. And this is how they stay in power, by withholding information and knowledge from you. You ask why would they do that? Because everything in the West is predicated upon money. Okay? Those who have the money have the power. And if you haven't figured out by now that this whole religion and church thing is nothing but a big business, then I really feel sorry for you, because that's all it is. It's money. Okay? The more people they can get in a church, the more money they can have. Keep paying that 10% tithe. Give God his 10%. When in actuality, it's the preacher man driving around in a Cadillac. Well, don't want to generalize. There are pastors and preachers and deacons and other people out there in the church who are legit. But it's been my experience that the religious system as a whole is corrupt. And the people who have the knowledge of your religion being plagiarized and borrowed from other ancient religions will not divulge this information to you because they'll be giving up